A library is a library, right? Just like a list is a list? Well, yes and no. We need to find out the intricacies or the details about working with a few different special kinds of libraries, one of which is known as a picture library. In our particular site, a picture library has been created, but it's named Corporate Images. This is a place where we want to be able to keep in one central location all of the different pictures that our company uses, so everybody has access to the same pictures, and if they need to be updated, our marketing or our graphics people can do that, put those back in the same place, and they don't have to try to distribute them to maybe 100 or 1,000 different people. It just makes life simpler, and it also makes sure that our corporate branding, imaging, marketing, and everything else remains consistent. Well, this is indeed a library, so we see the name of the library. We can add new pictures, or we can drag and drop files. What makes it a little bit different is, of course, the views. Just like in Windows, when you're working in a regular folder with documents, you can look at things in details or as large icons or small icons. But if you have a folder that is specifically designated as a picture folder, you get some additional views, things like thumbnails, or maybe even in a slideshow. That's really the difference between a regular library or a document library in SharePoint and a picture library. It has special features specifically made for images. For example, we can see thumbnails, which is the default view. We also can look at all pictures. That puts it back to just a plain text style view, or what we call a standard view. Notice that it does have some unique columns or fields as well, including the picture size and the file size, which could be very important when you're working with images. You also can look at slides. It's kind of hard to tell with this particular picture, but this is just giving you a much bigger, cleaner view, kind of like the large thumbnail or extra large thumbnail view. This view is a little more interesting when you have more pictures as well. Then, of course, there is the ellipsis, and you can work with creating your own views and modifying this view. For now, let's go ahead and go back to thumbnails. Now let's just run through what we can do with pictures in the picture library. The first thing we might want to do, of course, is upload a picture. And this is not a whole lot different than it would be with any other type of document in a document library. We can go to Files, or we can click on the Drag Files here, drag and drop, use Windows Explorer, all of those different things. We're going to choose to upload a document. And then, of course, we're just going to click on Browse and navigate to the location of our picture. Ours happens to be on the desktop in the Working Files folder. And if you're using the sample file, it would be in the Chapter 5 folder. Or, of course, you can use any image that you have. I happen to have a headshot here that I'm going to double click on. Once that's loaded in, we can click OK. And of course, because some images can be very large, you may have to wait a little bit longer than you do for your documents to load. Just be patient. It will let you know when it's done. And there we go. When an image is uploaded, it uploads and shows us the properties, just like it did with a document. You can see a full thumbnail at the top. Actually, it's a little bit more than a thumbnail, kind of a hand nail, if you will. But this is, again, a place where you want to make sure that you do include properties, because pictures can be very anonymous unless there's information put in. So putting in a title, the date the picture was taken, a full description, even keywords so it's searchable, can all be very important parts. It's just a matter of typing, so we're not going to go ahead and put that in, but I did want to let you know that properties are part of everything that you put in a library, even pictures, sometimes even more important with pictures than they are with documents. There we go. Now we see the new thumbnail here. Now, when you have all of these pictures in SharePoint, what can you do with them? Well, they've actually kind of streamlined this, different than it used to be, but a couple of things are possible. One, of course, is to just open the document, in this case, opening the picture. But if you wanted to use that, let's say that this was my picture and I needed to use it, or in this case, I'm logged on as Michael, and Michael needed a picture of Aaron, we can always download files. You can do that from the Open menu. You can also do it by selecting the item, moving to the Files tab, and from the Files tab, you have the option to download a copy. By clicking on this, it's just like downloading anything else from the internet. After all, SharePoint is a website. So you're simply prompted to save it, and you can either do a save or a save as. You can choose a location. I'm just going to go ahead and put this back to the desktop. If you want to rename it, you can do that as well. Click on Save, and you would then have your own copy on a local drive, a thumb drive, a network drive, wherever you wanted to put it. But remember, that would be outside of SharePoint. When the download's complete, your browser will probably give you some kind of message, and we'll just go ahead and clear that out. In the chapter in this series when we talk about using Microsoft Office, and when we're also talking about using social features, we refer to the integration between SharePoint, Office, and Microsoft SkyDrive Pro. The reason I mention that here is because another way to utilize the pictures that you have in SharePoint is to kind of link them with your own personal SkyDrive. What I'm going to do is Alt-Tab switching and move over to a PowerPoint file for just a moment. We haven't saved anything to a SkyDrive yet. Again, we're going to demonstrate how to do that in a different video. But because we're talking about using pictures, I wanted to show you how that integrates with things like PowerPoint, Word, and even Excel. When you're working in any one of the Office applications, you can go to Insert, and you can choose Online Picture. What you will see always is Office.com and a Bing image search. But if you're working with SkyDrive and or with SharePoint, you will see options for those as well. So Michael could go to his SkyDrive, browse for anything that he was synchronizing there, and bring those pictures directly and immediately into any one of the Office applications. We'll go over that entire process in another video. I just wanted to show you here that it's part of the integration with things like picture libraries.